Welcome to the No Say Project for what is today? It is the 10th of April, 2023, live from the fortified compound in Mesa, Arizona. Glad to be with you here as people start to file into the big show. Going to be streaming, so far, been doing pretty good, every Monday and Wednesday at 7 o'clock Arizona time. So I'm glad that you can tune in. And a lot of stuff to get to today. See how long of a stream I can get out of today. If I don't get to everything, then hey, there's the Wednesday broadcast. And if you'd like to help support the broadcast so I can do more shows more frequently, you can do so in the description. And it just you've got politicians that continue their fight and going against, and like there's all these snowflakes pissed off at a beer company, and they're taking guns and they're destroying beer they've paid for. They've already paid for it, and so the anti-gay, anti-trans stuff just keeps going unabated. I mean, what snowflakes? My gosh. It's not even as if beer companies are even serious about their support of LGBT, gay, lesbian, and trans people. It's just to make money. They don't care about social issues. They just care about money. And so when you've got these snowflakes that are getting triggered and are destroying, there was one I saw today. This guy went and destroyed several $100s worth of a type of whiskey, saying that they're all pissed off because they're so-called woke. These companies aren't woke. They just are catering to something that society is more inclusive of, finally, and getting more whole. Thank goodness, people who have who are not religious zealots, being more inclusive and treating people better. I think that's a good thing, and but the attacks, legally and socially, just the hits just keep coming. I just think it's absolutely astounding that somebody will just like with the coffee thing a number of years ago, people were destroying coffee makers. They already paid for them. So these companies don't give a damn. They couldn't care. As long as they've got your money, they don't give a damn. And I would say, to put any credibility into a large corporation's support of gay and trans rights and people, no, they're doing it for money. So to turn around and destroy something you've already paid for because you're going to send some kind of twisted message, that you're an easily triggered idiot? So the whole thing of, they're groomers and they're this is just the tip of the iceberg. These kind of stories here are going to keep coming out as long as the Catholic Church is allowed to keep grooming and abusing children. And I'm sure there's going to be one or two that says this is all fake. This is all fake. The Attorney General in Maryland, who I'm not a fan of, reports staggering church sex abuse in Maryland. If you would just do a Google search of Catholic Church sex abuse, this is only one of thousands and thousands, if not millions of stories you'll get about the Catholic Church. So if these snowflakes were so interested in protecting children, they would be absolutely outraged and if they're going to protest the Catholic Church. Protest these religious zealots that are actually preying on children. So report details staggering church sex abuse in Maryland. This is just one of 50 so-called states where they could have, I'm sure each one has a staggering, mind-numbing sexual abuse of children. Just the Catholic Church. That's not even taking into account all the other pastors that have been arrested on a regular basis. Not trans people, not drag queens. These, then again, you got a Catholic priest, so they do dress in robes. So This is absolutely horrific. More than 150 Catholic priests and others associated with the Archdiocese of Baltimore sexually abused over 600 children and most often escape responsibility, according to a long-awaited report released Wednesday that revealed the scope of abuse spanning 80 years and accused church leaders of decades of cover-ups. No murder, right? No kidding. Is this fake news? Is this fake? Is this all just political theater? Is it all fake to keep us distracted from what the Fed is really doing? And some putz on a YouTube or a TikTok channel is going to give us the inside information? Is this all just fake? Is this just to divert our attention from the real one? It's the actual drag queens and the trans people and the and people who are gay. This is just a cover up for the gay? Aye. The report paints a damning picture of the Archdiocese, just one of many that are doing it, which is the oldest Roman Catholic diocese in the country and spans much of Maryland. Some parishes and congregations had more than one abuser at the same time, including St. Mark Parish in Cantonsville, which had 11 abusers living and working there between 1964 and 2004. One deacon admitted to molest. Oh gosh, this is sick. Wow. One deacon, not a drag queen, but a deacon for the Catholic Church, admitted to molesting over 100 children. Another priest was allowed to feign hepatitis treatment and make other excuses to avoid facing abuse allegations. Oh my gosh. The staggering pervasiveness of the abuse itself underscores the culpability of the church hierarchy. The sheer number of abusers and victims, the depravity, well, that's putting it mildly, right? The depravity of the abuser's conduct and the frequency with which known abusers were given the opportunity to continue preying upon children are astonishing. Yeah, we've been saying this for how many years? Disclosure of the redacted findings marks a significant development in the ongoing legal battle over their release and adds to growing evidence from parishes across the country, across the world, as numerous similar revelations have rocked the Catholic Church in recent years. If you mean by recent years the last 60, 80, I agree with you there. Baltimore Archbishop William Lowry, in a statement posted online, apologized to the victims and said the report details a reprehensible time in the history of the Archdiocese. I'm going to go on record here and say this is not a new phenomenon in the last 80 years or so. No, a time that will not be covered up, ignored, or forgotten. Oh, it's getting covered up. It is difficult for most to imagine that such evil acts could have actually occurred. No, it's not. For victim survivors everywhere, they know the hard truth. These events, evil acts did occur. Yeah, and they've been covered up by the church as an institution for decades. Victims said the report was a long overdue public reckoning with shameful accusations the church has been facing for decades. Yeah, and ignored. Not by everybody. But where is the outrage of those wanting to ban drag shows? Where's that? Where is the outrage at the Catholic Church as an institution that has been doing this for decades, if not a millennium? Jean Hardigan Werner said she was abused in Baltimore as a teen. Oh, as a teen. That's surprising. I'm not minimizing it. It's usually preteen. It's all bad. It's always bad with the children, but a priest who served as her Catholic high school's counsel and chaplain. She was abused by her own chaplain and counselor. She reported the abuse to church officials in the early 90s. When her memories of the trauma finally surfaced about 2 decades after she was repeatedly raped. I expected them to do the right thing in 1992, she told reporters Wednesday. I'm still angry. Yeah. Yes, who wouldn't be? Imagine the victims of Donald Trump. One, it was a child at the time who, after he was running, or while he was running, had withdrew the complaint due to death threats. Imagine, and Jean Carroll, imagine seeing your accuser be president. That is so much worse than just getting away with it, but actually being rewarded publicly. The Archdiocese took steps to protect the accused. Yeah. That's what they do. Because similar here is this raging scumbag. I'll get to him, Clarence Thomas. See, this is what you usually see in these cases. Right, we've all seen this, right? We've investigated ourselves and cleared ourselves of any wrongdoing. Right? So that's what's going to happen with this raging scumbag, this piece of garbage right here. But that's what the Catholic Church does also. That's what the rich, privileged, powerful people in society do. You're not, see, drag queens have no social power. So go after them. But these animals, these actual child abusers, serial child abusers, as a matter of the institution itself. No, don't protest them. Don't ban the Catholic Church. No, ban inconsequential drag queens and drag shows. Completely socially inconsequential. The Baltimore report says church leaders were focused on keeping abuse hidden, because we know, just like with police, bad police just go to a different police department. Bad priests just go to a different parish. They wanted to keep the abuse hidden, not on protecting victims or stopping abuse. In some situations, victims ended up reporting abuse to priests who were abusive themselves. Gee, there's a shock. It's the institution. So just as the police don't do anything about bad police, see, a few rotten apples spoil the whole barrel, the whole damn institution of the Catholic Church. And when law enforcement did become aware of child abuse allegations, police and prosecutors were often deferential and uninterested in probing what church leaders knew and when. But government types have no problem going after, again, socially inconsequential drag shows. The nearly 500-page document includes numerous instances of leaders taking steps to protect accused clergy, including allowing them to retire with financial support rather than being ousted, letting them remain in the ministry, and failing to report alleged abuse to law enforcement. Law enforcement, they didn't have to report it to law. Even if they did, nothing would have happened. In 1964, for instance, Father Lawrence Brett admitted to sexually abusing a teenager at a Catholic university in Connecticut. He was sent to New Mexico under the guise of hepatitis treatment that was mentioned at the beginning of the article, and then to Sacramento, where another teenage boy reported being abused by Brett, the report said. He was later assigned to Baltimore, where he served as chaplain at a Catholic high school for boys and abused over 20 victims. This is sick. This is just, it's really difficult to wrap your mind around such an evil institution who get away with it and probably always will get away with it until things start to change. Sick. And yet, it's all this manufactured rage about so-called wokeness. I don't see anywhere where they're protesting the Catholic Church. They wouldn't even dream of coming up with one of their laws to protect children from the clergy. How many cases do you have to have before you realize that the real threat, a real, not just one, but a real threat to children, proven over and over and over again, are churches? Even if we're just looking at the one, this is absolutely mind-numbingly evil. Absolutely horrible. But people continue demonizing homosexuals. If you're demonizing homosexuals who are part of the Catholic Church, now we're talking. Because that doesn't mean gay is bad. They're not gay because they're not bad because they're homosexuals. They're bad because they're preying on children. It's absolutely sickening. So, yeah, we care so much about, even the Simpsons almost 40 years ago were making fun of that. Won't someone think of the children? All it is to manufacture rage porn to keep people making donations. Yep, we've investigated ourselves and we found no wrongdoing. That's just the way it goes. Now that's a political one. Yep. We investigated ourselves and cleared ourselves of any wrongdoing. I like this one, yeah. Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. Yep. They laugh at you. They just laugh. So it's really surprising that an attorney general in Maryland, Anthony Brown, actually released this and did something. It makes you think maybe, just maybe these people who are actually preying on children will be held to some accountability. Maybe. I'll believe it when I see it. Because typically what you do see is you see police officers. There are cops that go to prison for child molestation and child abuse. That does happen. It just makes you wonder, for every one that does go to prison, how many are not? Because it's being covered up just like these animals do in the Catholic Church. Let me know in the comments what you think. I can't read the comments just yet because I still have to show these things, but I will get to the comments in real soon. Oh, and yeah, before I get to that rich scumbag, Clarence Thomas, not Catholic, doesn't matter, religious zealot, Dalai Lama apologizing after video shows him kissing a boy. He did more than that. It's really, really disgusting. It's on video, so he wanted the boy. Oh, man, that's sick. The Dalai Lama then asked the boy to kiss him on the lips and stuck out his tongue and said, "And suck my tongue." I don't think I can listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers Suck My Kiss in the same way now anymore. So thanks to this jackass for ruining one of the greatest songs of the early 90s. Probably, yeah, that's bad. All right, now in a real case, for over 20 years, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has been treated to luxury vacations by billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow. Although there was a pretty funny joke that I will just relay here, that someone had mentioned, I think it was maybe The Daily Show, that Harlan Crow has, or maybe it was Saturday Night Live, Harlan Crow has the whitest, is the whitest guy with the blackest name, Harlan Crow. Truly, he goes on cruise. This is what's being reported in ProPublica.org. He goes on cruises in far-flung locales on Crow's yacht, flies on his private jet, and keeps company with Crow's powerful friends in the billionaire's private resort. Yeah. How to buy yourself a Supreme Court justice. Clarence Thomas and the billionaire. And I believe there's some law. He's a government employee. He's only able to accept gifts up to a certain amount, and these things have to be reported. And he didn't report it because it's normal for a billionaire to take care of a sitting judge, let alone the Supreme Court. In 2019, right after U.S. Supreme Court released its final opinion of the term, Justice Clarence Thomas boarded a large private jet headed to Indonesia, and his wife. He and his wife were going on vacation, 9 days of island hopping in a volcanic archipelago on a super yacht staffed by attendants and a private chef. If Thomas had chartered the plane in the 162-foot yacht himself, the total cost of the trip would have exceeded $500,000. Fortunately for him, that wasn't necessary. He was on vacation with real estate magnate and Republican megadonor Harlan Crow, who owned the jet and the yacht too. And there are pictures of him on these vacations. So for more than 2 decades, he accepted luxury trips virtually every year from the Dallas businessman without disclosing them. Documents and interviews show. A public servant has a salary of $285,000 a year, has vacationed on Crow's super yacht around the globe. Nice. Nice work if you can get it, right? And so there's outrage by senators, and they wanted the Justice Court to investigate itself. We've investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong. That's what's going to happen. Now, something like that should be impeachable. They should be able to remove him, but that would give a Democrat the opportunity to appoint another judge to the Supreme Court, and that won't happen. And as is common, although both sides are bad, Republicans are particularly bad because there is no bottom. As long as it is done by a Republican, they're off limits. They could do literally anything, like shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and Republicans will not hold them accountable. So nothing. There's not going to be an impeachment. There won't be a trial. There won't be any charges brought up on this guy. It doesn't matter how many laws he may have violated. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the rich and powerful are almost never held accountable. And that's why Trump being arrested, being indicted and indicated and being arrested last week, that's what was such a big deal. And I see it as a really big deal because it'll open the floodgates for other indictments, hopefully. So hopefully that's just one of many indictments. So here you've got this piece of garbage who was, the public, I was too young, at the time. I was, I wasn't an adult yet when he was appointed. But witnesses came out to warn. Anita Hill did come out and warn about this guy. And no, I'm not saying that he's the only one. I'm pretty sure judges, this is a regular thing, which is why, again, the rich and powerful, we investigated ourselves. We found we did nothing wrong because he could spill the beans on other judges that are doing exactly the same thing. He just happened to have gotten caught. But it doesn't matter because he won't be held to, that's the face of a man who knows he is never going to suffer any consequences for his actions. That's just the way it is. This guy knows. Look at it. What, me? Consequences? I don't think so. Oh, I love this one. He's just laughing with, the consequences. Yeah, that's for the little people. I'm no plebe. So this sums it up. That's why I'm using it as a thumbnail for this particular broadcast. Because this sums it up right here. Man, he's laughing. These people have no shame. When you're that rich, you don't need any shame. Whatever. This is a bump on the road, and this is what when you can force people to pay your salary. When you start with an unethical foundation, they can get away with it. So I am running low on time here, so I want to get to the comments. So, excuse this for just a moment. All right. So I will stop that there and take a look at the comments. Actually, what I'd like to do, bear with me for a second there, guys. I'm not that good at this part yet. I'm gonna go with that. There we go. Oh, look what I did there. So, all right. So I'm gonna have to crop that just slightly. Yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think of that they're editing live. Eh? Not too shabby. So let me get to those comments. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. Yeah, that's looking pretty good now. Yeah, it's looking... aloha, yes. The global slavery plantation operates off implied contracts. If you don't say no, then they have tacitly agreed to say yes. That's all been debunked. I'm not going to spend my time on the show. Greetings, Mark. Miss ya. Glad to be back. Glad to have you back. Anyone know the truth about what's going on with the Dalai Lama stories? Well, some might think it's just fake news, but apparently there's video and it's being reported by all the big, AP and Reuters and whatnot. There are 8 billion sheep and only 300 lions. If a small percentage of sheep decide to stand their ground, yeah, I agree. What happened to gay is good. Gay is good. But just because someone is gay, I mean, it's an individual thing. Gay people can be serial killers too. It's not the gayness that's making them be a serial killer. I mean, John Wayne Gacy wasn't a serial killer because he was gay. That's so there's nothing wrong with being gay. Chili Pepper Singer went to Epstein Island. I don't know about that. I don't know. I do know that that song is ruined. That song is just not going to be the same anymore for me. Meat substitutes for everybody. There you go. The presumption. Okay, he has black privilege. I wouldn't. I think Mark is jealous. Jealous? What am I jealous of? There, Sovereign Dirt. I'm not. I don't see. Not as slaves, but under indenture by way of operating under the birth certificate bond. None of that. Not a single word of that is true. Cooking with gas there, bro. Well, that's just another silly thing that Fox News used to outrage people. There are studies, and it's pretty well known that cooking with gas inside. I mean, just think about it. You're cooking with gas. You've got exhaust fumes. Probably not good. Just having a lot of candles in the house can contribute to, from what I believe. I may not be completely accurate, but candles can cause respiratory problems. I can't believe the Dalai Lama allows himself to be recorded. No, is Dalai Lama a killer? Not that we know of, but apparently he's got a real taste for young boys. Okay, I said it. Okay. What did God do to Sodom and Gomorrah? Do you actually believe that is a real story? Because if you believe Mustafa 1611, if you believe that is a real, literal, historical event, then it does follow that his wife, Lot's wife, she turned back and she was turned into a pillar of salt. I mean, do you believe that's a literal story? Because then it gets even more disgusting. Do you believe then that his daughters were somehow God had allowed, or God intervened and directed his daughters to have sex with him? I have that right, don't I? It's been a long time. I think I've got that right. Yes, that's right. So if you go to Genesis chapter 19 and you're believing that this is a literal, factual, historical event, Genesis chapter 9, Lot's own children, which, remember, he offered to the strangers out in the street, his own daughters. My gosh, that's sick. If you believe it's a literal historical, thing. The story of Lot offering his daughters to the Sodomites is also found in the Quran. Although there's no mention of the rape of Lot. I'm not familiar with the Quran, am I? So you got to take the good. You can't be like, was it Lauren Bober in Cherry Pick? You got to. This is some. Wow. A number of commentators describe the actions of Lot's daughters as rape. Pretty sick stuff. Pretty sick. Concerned with their father having descendants, one evening, Lot's eldest daughter gets Lot drunk and has sex with him without his knowledge. The following night, the younger daughter does the same. They both become pregnant. So it's really no surprise that this crap in places like Florida and Texas about banning books, that parents have come out and wanted the Bible banned because right there in Genesis, you have incest and rape. Offering his daughters to the strangers in the street. Wow. So what say you? It is 100% true that Lot was raped by his daughters. Again, Dalai Lama, is it still gay is good? Yes, but preying on children is never good. The Bible is 100% true and proven. I don't know how you can even begin to come about to do that. If you just look at the story of Job, the story of Job does not paint a flattering picture of God. It sounds like a really sick, depraved game and sadistic. It just, sadism barely describes what was done to the character of Job. I mean, that was sick. I don't know where you're coming out with this proof that so-called 100% true. Nope. Does anyone, I don't know about that. There was some list of pastors' names who have faced allegations of misconduct that was published sometime. Yeah, if you go on Reddit or you go on Imager, there's every day there's more and more posts about pastors and police being arrested and charged with child abuse and child molestation. They deceive Lot to preserve the family tree. You can say whatever you want. Rape is rape. Incest is incest over here. That doesn't mean it's true. The strangers were raving gay. All right, well, we don't need to have that. Let's not have any of that. They are hunting our steps that we cannot go into the streets. Dead Sea Scrolls. Are you a Mormon? No. But Mustafa has what evidence? I don't have the time to get into something like that. I thought we would talk more about what I had discussed, and there were questions about what was up here. But speaking of rape, this is really sick. And it tends to be predominantly, if not entirely, the work of Republicans. Idaho becomes one of the, this is an ABC News and I don't want to hear it's fake. Idaho, because you can go and you can see the actual bills. Idaho becomes one of the most extreme anti-abortion states with law restricting travel for abortions. You can't even leave. And so what we had last year, after Roe v. Wade was overturned, and you have all these automatic restrictions on abortion and outright bans, a 10-year-old girl who was raped had to leave. I think it was Texas or Oklahoma, had to get the hell out of there. So she didn't have to carry a rapist embryo and feed it. And that's what these Idaho politicians want to do. A bill that prohibits people in Idaho from helping pregnant minors leave the state to obtain abortions became law on Wednesday. Holy crap. Idaho has become the first state to pass a law explicitly restricting some out-of-state travel for abortions. And they're not making exceptions for rape and incest. Oh, I guess they're reading, what would have happened to the people of Moab if there was an abortion available? I can't believe it's devolved into into that. Wow. Yeah, if we can only fire those co-government. That's the thing. The main problem is the unethical way that it's paid for. That if it wasn't on a pay or go to prison basis, we would have a lot more accountability over those who provide these services, which we need most. I would say most of the services. But what is the thought process here? Abortion has been banned at all stages of pregnancy. It is beyond comprehension, the evil nature of these politicians by banning abortion and then going so far as to not allow a woman to even leave without having, and even those who help can be held for felonies. That's why 2 hospitals in Idaho stopped delivering babies. It's so bad in Idaho with the threat of jail for delivering a baby. It's sick. But these politicians, they're not done. They're not done. Everyone, the Republicans laugh when it was said after Roe v. Wade's gone, they're going to get rid of. I did a video on this. They're going to get rid of contraception. Oh, stop. They're never going to get rid of contraception. Oh, really? It's been going on for. I don't know why I'm highlighting this. You guys can't even see it anymore. Iowa AG, this is from Iowa Iowa Public Radio. Iowa AG's office suspends emergency contraception payments for sexual assault victims. Holy crap. And you just had a judge suspend a long approved abortion medication that, there's a counter decision, I think, in Washington, Oregon. So it's definitely going to be going to the Supreme Court. But we've got these religious zealots on the Supreme Court. Like the guy who likes beer. Well, he used to like beer, but he still does. But he used to too. Holy crap. Attorney General Brenna Bird's office said it has suspended payment for emergency contraception for sexual assault victims while they are reviewing state policy. Wow. That's just, wow. You can give a man locomotion and no space, or you can give a man space and no locomotion. Neither one works. I don't know what. Okay. I bet Tom in Michigan is pissed about. Well, maybe this is a good time to start wrapping up tonight's stream. Ronnie Montana, maybe you're not aware. Not only was Tom a racist douchebag, but he went way over that line and into a murdering douchebag. And then he takes his own life like a coward. But he killed his girlfriend first. So Yeah. He drinks light beer equals hates me. Maybe. Maybe. So. All right. All I was doing was taking someone to task for a comment that he made. He's saying the Bible is 100% true, and I would dare defy anybody to bring forth evidence to show any religious text is 100% historically accurate. That's just that just is not the case. So yeah, well, I wasn't mentioning the names of the beer and the other alcohol because I don't think it's not necessary. What the point of me saying that was just to point out how unbelievably stupid some people are that are triggered by a beer company's or big corporations marketing campaign. They don't care about those issues. I mean, that would be like Apple coming out against child slavery and child labor. Is Apple as a company really going to come out against child labor? And say no, even if they did, they wouldn't mean it because they profit off of that. It's all about profit. That's what rich people only care about money. They don't give a damn about anything else. Rich people care about one thing, money. That's it. And they're willing to do pretty much, a lot of them, they're willing to do whatever is necessary to get it, regardless of the consequences of what it does to us. It doesn't matter. So, all right, I am getting the signal here. For those who are new to the stream, I'm using a regular DSLR, and I can't plug it in at this particular time. If you'd like to help out with that, you can see how in the description. If you want to help support the broadcast, there are links in the description to be able to do that. While I'm relying on batteries, let's see. Yeah, while I rely on batteries, I only get so long, and these things between 45 minutes and an hour, and I'm really starting to push it. So I am getting the warning light there, so I do have to go. I'm not afraid to admit anything, and it's not important. What I will say to Mustafa is, remember, people, just like my becoming a vegan, some of us who are adults, some of us, based on facts and evidence that are presented to us, can change our minds. I know that's a radical concept to some who watch the stream because they're stuck in the Q-verse. I know that's tough, but I did it live on and I'm going to have to do an all vegan ethics stream. Maybe the next one will be an all vegan ethics stream. And the idea that somebody based on life experience, based on evidence, or based on a lack of evidence and using logic can actually change their worldview. It is possible. I wouldn't do the show anymore if I didn't think it was possible that a lot of people could have their worldview changed. So, hey, I used to think at one point that all voting didn't matter. Didn't matter. It's all rigged. It is rigged, but not at the ballot box. It's rigged before that when they restrict voting rights and they and drop boxes, and the gerrymandering is insane on both sides. So I'm going to end the show there. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you do want to help support the channel, you can do so in the description, and it is appreciated. I will be live again on Wednesday night. So whatever I couldn't cover tonight or I couldn't address in the comments, I will get to on the Wednesday broadcast, 7 o'clock Arizona time. And so till then, salud.